So, gentlemen, we saw this season the emergence of Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith, two very young guys, not even in their 20s. I don't even think they did their senior year of high school.
Yeah.
We were talking about how they have already potentially been viewed as first rounders. Florida recently just got Dallas Wilson, who is also a freshman. So, gentlemen, my question to you, after the orange and blue game, is he going to be the next big star, the next big Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith? Now, just quick little glance at what he did in the orange and blue game. Ended up with 10 catches, 195 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He set a new UF spring game record for completions, 10, and tied a UF spring game record in receiving, 195, which tied Trevon Grimes in 2018, a name I haven't heard in so long.
Man.
I know, right?
Woo.
And keep in mind, this is also not with DJ Lagway at quarterback. DJ Lagway was in there, but the only snaps that he did was just a handoff to the running backs, which we'll get into the running backs another day because good Lord. But yes, is Dallas Wilson going to be the next big young star in all of college football?
I don't know, man. That he was an original commit to Oregon. We all remember that.
Mm-hmm.
That decided
for like a year almost.
Exactly, but he was like, "Man, I want to stay at home. I'm from Tampa. Gainesville is not that far away from Tampa. Well, how long is it? It's like a 2-hour drive, right?
Something like that. 2.5, maybe 3, depending on traffic.
Yeah, so you got a 2-hour drive that your parents can obviously make to come see you. And
taking away the like 30, 40 minutes from Tampa, we'll say like 2 hours. Yeah, we'll say 2 hours.
Yeah, and so with all that being said, man, once you put this topic in there, I went back and I tried to watch what he did. That dude had 195 yards on 10 catches and 2 touchdowns. And one of them catches was insane. Went up and snagged it, spun in the air, ran for like 40 yards. I was like,
I was about to say a lot of them too were like yak as well.
I said, who the hell is this guy? But I mean, it is actually fair that you bring this up because we are dealing in hindsight is always like, you know, what have you done for me lately, right? And you see Ryan Williams and you see Jeremiah Smith and you see these young guys and you're like, you see a performance like that in the spring game. And I'm going to just say it, like, I think Florida is actually a decent team. I've always thought that they were a decent team. With the weapons that they had there, it was just, could Billy Napier get past I think Anthony Richardson really put a damper on his career.
I'm gonna be shitting a brick every time we're in the red zone, brother. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
Well, man, authentic. What's happening, my man? But yeah, I it's a fair question, but I'm gonna say this: you can't. Oh my God, it's almost like this, right? Can he be Jeremiah Smith? I don't think that. Jeremiah Smith proved that like the bar was kind of he's an athletic freak. He's big as shit. He can catch everything. And then you have Ryan Williams, who he's probably more comparable to. But Ryan Williams is insane. His catching angles, the way that they're just so different. All three of these guys are so different. But I can say this, like, the reason why I think Ryan Williams would be better than Jeremiah Smith or him is because he didn't have a true number one target outside of, well, maybe Jeremy Bernard being there, right? But Jeremy Bernard was never a true, like, number one. Ryan Williams was a true number one for that team until people started figuring him out. Jeremiah Smith had Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate, Brandon Enos on the same team.
Well, and
he became the number one.
You look at this. We've got Michael Servan, Trey Wilson, Vernell Brown, another freshman that's in there, Tank Abrams, who was like the big track star. Plus, you've got all of the running backs that we've talked about. So,
you guys got like 3 5-star receivers on the team. It's insane.
It's been so long.
No, that, to be honest,
Can
bro,
we just get a top 100? I'm not even like asking for a 5-star offensive lineman. I would like that. I just want an offensive lineman that's ranked in the top 100.
No, but sorry, you don't understand how impressive that is to have like 3 5-stars on yes. one core. Like, that's some Ohio State type shit.
I know.
Like, So, but
DJ Lagway.
To be honest, like for Dallas to be in the conversation with Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams, he really has. Like, I still think Eugene Wilson is a beast, bro. Like, he's one of my favorite wide receivers. Him and Jace Brown from Kansas State are two of the most underrated receivers.
If he can stay healthy, that's the thing, though.
That's the thing with him. And then Jace just obviously plays for Kansas State and has a running quarterback. So, like, they both have some deficiencies and just in different aspects.
Trey Brown's got to stay healthy. That's his main thing.
Trey Wilson.
Trey Wilson.
Yo, this man went from Vernell, Trey.
Well, because I was about to say Vernell Brown, and I was like, yeah, Chase Brown. And
sometimes 5 stars don't pan out. We'll see. Hey, Ohio State broke that mold with their wide receivers. I don't know what type of. I ain't gonna say what was happening with the way that they're recruiting receivers. We already know how Brian Hartline does.
Damn McDonald's bags, bro.
I don't know what this dude was doing, but Khalid, you're the wide receiver here. We didn't play wide receiver. From what you've seen, man, can he be the next superstar? I'm not saying that he can. I'm just saying that that's what you got to measure him up against is those two guys.
So the thing that stuck out to me with what Sora was saying, I don't know if I'm more surprised by the stat line, right, of 10 catches, 195 yards, and 2 touchdowns, or the fact that Florida keeps spring game records. Because frankly, I've never heard of that, a spring game record. So that was new to me.
Also, all right, I'll throw one more at you. It was the largest attendance since 09. So
that one is fair. Measuring attendance at spring games, I think that's pretty routine. But actual statistics,
just we want to be a stickler about it, you know.
Looking at actual statistics of player statistics during a game as a spring game record. I mean, again, I didn't know that was a thing, but to hear that Dallas Wilson went out there and tied one and broke another's very, very impressive. Because I mean that shows that in that setting, no one else has done what he's done.
Yeah.
Right. I think we can all agree that obviously, like spring games, you take them with a grain of salt, right? But doing what he did with that is still very, very impressive, right? You don't just happen your way into 10 catches for 195 yards in a spring game. And I'm assuming he was going up against some starters.
Yep.
So to do this as a true freshman, right? You just got on campus. And Dante, not only was he committed to Oregon, he signed with Oregon.
Yeah.
He signed with them and then had to get released from his financial aid stuff and then decommitted and ended up signing with Florida. If when I hear that, I'm like, first of all, Oregon wanted this guy. They wanted him bad, right? He was committed for nearly a year. Just based off what we know from Oregon wide receivers, right? That carries some weight, right? Like on defense, if Utah's recruiting you, that carries some weight, right? Yep. If you're Ohio State.
So by the way, for how the format works out, he was on the orange team. So the orange team has the second string starters on offense and the first string starters on defense, and then vice versa on the blue team. They've got the first strings on defense the first strings on offense and the second strings on defense.
Okay.
And then, vice versa. And then they mix in third strings and everything as well.
Yeah. But, when you hear, Ohio State's recruiting a receiver, that means something, right? And for me, at least, it's the same thing with Oregon. Right? Will Stein and Dan Lanning, they wanted this guy bad, and they were able to hold off other programs from getting him, right? From getting him to decommit for so long, right? So to me, that says that Dallas Wilson, just based off of what an elite school thinks of him, that means something to me. And then he backed it up with his play in the spring game. And watching his catches, right? Very, very impressive. I don't know if I can ever compare a true freshman receiver in terms of their impact on the field to what Jeremiah Smith just did. I don't think that's fair to place that expectation upon anyone. But
we just talked about top 5 receivers. True freshman 18 years old.
Yeah.
Well, he was number 4. I believe he was number 4 in the country in receiving yards. That's bro, that's a pretty high bar, man. And Ryan Williams was on par with him until he just didn't have any other help. It was just him and Jalen Milroe, right? Like, and 3/4 of the way through the season, his production dropped. So that tells you anything. Like, but Jeremiah Smith was one of those ones, man.
And Smith was instrumental in winning a national championship, right? It's not fair for Dallas Wilson or for any 5-star true freshman wide receiver. It's not fair for anyone to say he could be the next Jeremiah Smith, to place that upon him. But what I will say is that seeing how Dallas Wilson played, knowing that he's not going to be the only good receiver that Florida can field, as Sora listed out a handful of guys who can.
I also forgot to mention Aiden Mazzell. That's another one.
So there's a lot of guys there, right? He's gonna be lining up alongside, who, it's not like they can just double team him teams aren't just gonna double team him and leave the other receivers alone. They can't. Correct. They will get carved up.
Yeah.
So knowing that, right, Dallas Wilson is going to be out there, and he can't be double teamed every play, and he's going to be playing out there alongside a budding star at quarterback in DJ Lagway. To me, this is the making of an elite receiver from the get-go. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be Jeremiah Smith. I don't think that's fair. What I do think is fair, though, is to say that Dallas Wilson could absolutely be one of the best true freshman wide receivers, dare I say even just best true freshman in the country in year one.
Yeah.
He absolutely could. Yeah. The depth chart looks like it could be lining up that way. The rest of the offense, with a solid running game and a quarterback who's got all the potential in the world, to me, everything is shaping up for Dallas Wilson to be able to produce. I think he can be the next star, right? And when Florida comes into town in College Station, I do need to buy my sports pass, by the way. I am, at least right now, I'm not looking forward to that game. As a fan, at least, right? As a non-biased person,
I have no comment yet. I don't know yet.
I think that's going to be a great game. But as a fan, I am worried because DJ Lagway grew up not even an hour and a half outside.
Please let it be able to throw.
It's his homecoming.
Take my shoulder. I don't care.
If Trey Wilson and Dallas Wilson, wait, 2 Wilsons? That's crazy.
Yes,
there's
hence
3.
my confusion earlier.
There's 3, right? Isn't it Vernon Wilson?
Vernell Brown.
Vernell Brown.
Vernell Brown.
It's Vernell Brown III, Trey Wilson, who is Eugene Wilson, but we call him Trey Wilson.
Yep.
And then Dallas Wilson.
I thought you guys had another Wilson on that.
No, you keep
offense.
thinking Trey Wilson and Eugene Wilson are 2 different people. That's what it is. Because we've had this conversation many of times.
Sora, shut up.
Don't be mad because I'm right.
If Lagway and Wilson squared are on a roll before they come into College Station, I'm going to be shaking in my boots. And Sora, if you do want to get to this game, I'll see what I can do to get you a ticket.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. I'll sleep on your couch. I don't care.
That should work. Anyways, look. All in all,
I'm gonna make fun of your yell leader so much, bro. I'm gonna get kicked out. It's happening.
You have to do a lot to get kicked out.
Oh, we could go to Jollibee.
Oh, there's not one in College Station, bro.
Is there a Sonic? Could we do the Sonic driving car, guys?
All
right.
Yeah, there's a Sonic.
No,
yes,
dude, did we tell you about our pitch idea, by the way?
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Bro, we forgot to go to Jollibee when we was in Mobile. I literally, while I was on the plane, I thought about that. I was like...
I haven't thought about that since now, bro. I forgot that.
I was like, did we really just drive past Jollibee the amount of times we drove by?
I don't remember driving past the Jollibee, though.
But
I feel like one of us would have shouted out.
To be fair, I was sick. I was sick the last 2 days, so like that would have been the time to actually
go to Jollibee when you're dying. Yeah,
man. No, I was not thinking about food, bro. Y'all want to know
Jollibee killer out here, man.